I asked for some ideas from you guys on what topics you'd like to see covered, and you delivered. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is really answering some of those questions that people asked me on a post that I put out just a little bit ago where I said, hey, what topics do you guys want to see covered? Some of you were great. You reached out and you had some great ideas on there. So I just wanted to make a video just kind of answering those questions as best I can, just kind of off the top of my head. Before we get started though, do make sure you give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if I haven't said so yet, my name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska. And my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. Now let's go and jump into today's video. The first question comes from jet.com, and that is, what are your thoughts on Southeast Alaska? You know, Southeast Alaska is really just not an area I personally really jive with. You know, it's nice, it's really pretty, I love to visit. I don't think I'd really want to live there. It's a little too remote for me, and the only way to really get in is by ferry or by flight. And for some people, that's great, and they love that, and I don't want to take that from them. For me personally, not really my cup of tea. You know, I really prefer to be close enough to where I can still get out, I can still go do stuff, and I think I would probably feel pretty claustrophobic in one of these smaller communities out there in Southeast Alaska. I think for a short period of time, it'd be great, 3-4 days, I'll come back with batteries charged and all ready to go. If I had lived there, I would feel like I'd constantly be bumping my head against like the four walls around me is probably what it would feel like. But that is just me. For some people, that's their jam. And I'm going to say, go get after it, and definitely make sure you visit ahead of time just so you kind of have a sense for what you're getting into. All right, the next question came from Dennis Smith asking about what the new construction scene looks like in Anchorage, Wasilla, and the Kenai Peninsula. So I actually answered this one in more detail in a video. If it's not out yet, it's going to be coming up here soon. I answered this one in a lot more detail in a video all to its own, but I'll go ahead and just say most of the new construction in the entire state happens in the Mat-Su Valley. You know, we're starting to see more and more new construction come onto the market, but 72% of the new construction that closed or pended so far in the past 12 months has been in the Mat-Su Valley. You get a little bit over in Anchorage where the cost per square foot is about $30 or $40 per square foot more than what it is in the Kenai Peninsula and in the Mat-Su Valley. But for the most part, it's going to be the Mat-Su building properties on average that are around 1,900 square feet. So, great question. Make sure you go check that video out if you haven't already. This next question comes from Mylin Orellana. I'm sure I mispronounced that, but in this question, she asked, what are some extracurriculars for kids, looking at music, looking at just a bunch of other programs that they can go ahead and go do. You know, I don't have kids of my own. I do have a lot of nieces and a lot of nephews. I don't have any kids of my own. I'm probably not going to be the best one to answer this one, but when I was growing up, it was not necessarily like activities to go and do. It was places that we could go. So we're very outdoors oriented, and it was kind of just a matter of, okay, well, there's all this stuff out here. Go out there, be safe, obviously, you know, watch out for moose, all that crazy stuff, but keep yourself entertained and get out there, enjoy the wilderness, kid. That was more or less kind of the mindset back then. If you're looking for music lessons and all that, I'm sure a quick search on Google will turn up a lot of stuff. Actually, someone who used to work for me actually does, you know, tutor like guitar and all that. So that's something that you're interested in for your kids. Let me know. I will put you in contact with them. Let's take a break here real quick. For those who've been watching for a bit, you know that I host a podcast called the Alaskan Journey Podcast. And I interview people who've recently moved up here and people who've lived up here for decades about what it's like living up here, and they can kind of share their experiences with you and any pros and cons and things they wish they could have done differently if they had it to do over. So do make sure you go check that out. That's going to be in the description section down below. And if you're in a phase where you just kind of need some generic questions answered for you about what it's like moving up here, do make sure you go check out my relocation guide. To access that, just go to my website, click on the link that's in the description section down below, go to the website, register to the website, and then in the comment section put relocation guide so I know what to send you. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this next question that comes from Dave. And for this one, he just had a big exclamation point and said Sasquatch. Okay, so let's talk about Sasquatch. There were some rumors about there being some kind of Sasquatch Bigfoot tracks. I think it was over in southeast Alaska, if I recall correctly. I think it was bear tracks is what it turned out to be, but I can definitely see how that might happen. I know there was some kind of a Bigfoot group that got together up in Fairbanks a little while ago. I think it was about a year and a half ago. So that's going on. There was actually a hoax going on for quite a while in Eagle River, if I recall correctly, just in kind of the small town paper that I saw, where someone was pranking people with a lot of Bigfoot stuff around Eagle River. So, that's really fun. There's a lot of rumors saying that Bigfoot are responsible for a lot of the people who disappear in like the Alaska Triangle, where they disappear. You can draw your own conclusions from that. I'm not really worried about Bigfoot. I am totally more worried about the Aklutnas. And what these are, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, okay, don't destroy me too bad in the comment section. But what these are is they are way further north. And what they are is they are half wolf and half killer whale. And they can come on land or they can go out to the ocean. And they're just known for being these really evil spirits that not a whole lot is known about them, but if you've got one after you, that's going to be pretty hard to shake them. So that's pretty bad. Another one is the Ankushtika. And this is actually down in southeast Alaska, and it's known for having kind of this beaver tail, and it can really imitate other people's voices that you know really well, lure you into the woods, and you never come out again. So I'd be way more worried about those than I would be in Bigfoot personally, but that's just me. This next question comes from Matthew Vinson, and in this question he's asking, hey, where are the cheapest places to live, and what are the best small towns? What's the average cost for a one-bedroom, one-bath? So questions like this, I honestly don't really know where to start. I'll start with this. The cheapest combination of places to live is if you work in Anchorage and you live in the Mat-Su Valley. So live in Anchorage, but you live in like Palmer or Wasilla, and you just make the commute in. I've done this before in an Economist when we were looking at the stats, and actually we saw the cheapest cost of living actually is to do it that way, because you get the housing expenses over in the Mat-Su Valley and you get the higher wage over in Anchorage. So that's going to be the best combination. It's just more time in the car. If you're fine with that, nothing wrong with it, just as long as you kind of know what you're getting into. Now, if we're getting into the average cost of stuff for apartments, I mean, I don't know where to start, because I don't know specifically what area it is that we're looking at. If you're looking for something over in Anchorage, you can probably find a one-bedroom, one-bath. I mean, you probably could for around $900. It just depends on what it is that you're getting, the area, all that stuff. I mean, there are just so many variables that go into answering that question that it's really difficult to answer without having more specifics. But yeah, if you're looking for like a really nice one, like top of the line and everything, I bet you could probably get one that's, pretty bougie for around, I don't know, $1,500, $1,300, something like that. And on kind of the lower end, I bet you might be able to find one for around $700. But you just have to decide if you want to live in an area where you can get an apartment for $700 in South Central Alaska. I'm sure it's doable. Just make sure you check the crime map and everything else around it. Make sure you're comfortable with it. All right, the last question is going to come from Joe Jr. And in this one, he's asking, hey, should I buy land and build or just buy something that's pre-existing? It really depends on what it is that you want the land to be used for. Are you wanting something that you can fix up and you can get some great equity in, or do you want really that turnkey property from day one and kind of get that top of the market value? You're going to be paying top of the market, but you're also going to be getting that top of the market value. If it helps you at all, the average sold price for a new construction property in the Mat-Su Valley was about $438,000. The average cost of an existing home was about $388,000. So that helps you to kind of get an idea for, what price range you should be looking at. Definitely take it and use it for that. We do know the new construction does cost more. It is going to be more of a process, and unless you catch them at the very end of the process when they're building, then it can definitely take quite a while, and it's going to be, probably about a 6 to 12 month process. So I sure hope this video has been useful for you. And if you have any questions you'd like to see answered in a future video, do make sure you post those in the comments section down below. Also look out, every couple months I'll post something where I'm coming up with new ideas for these videos, and that's going to be a great post to go comment on. And make sure you get yourself on here to be featured for one of the questions that we answer. So thank you very much. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. And if you have any further questions, feel free to leave them down below. Be happy to help as best I can, and we'll see you next time.